glorious name of Jesus. The word of the Lord is already blessed. The word of the Lord is already blessed. Because this is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. This is how I fight my battles. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This is how I fight my battles. 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 It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This is how I fight my battles. 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 It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This is how I fight my battles. 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 It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. This is how I fight my battles. Jesus, this is how we fight our battles. This is how we fight our battles. You're preparing to go to war. You're preparing to go to war. And the word of the Lord is already blessed. The word of the Lord is already blessed. Because help is on the way. I said help is on the way. Coming from Isaiah chapter 41, verse 1. It says, listen in silence before me. Listen in silence before me. This is Isaiah speaking what God is saying. Listen in silence before me. So that means I have to be in a silent place. I have to be in a quiet place. I have to be in a still place to hear God speak to me. You lands beyond the sea, bring your strongest arguments. That's some folk arguing. That's some folk bickering. That's some folk slandering you, slandering your name, arguments. But God hears it all. He hears it all. He heard it all. Amen. I think it's raining and drizzling. It's a little drizzle out. Rain is falling. I spoke yesterday that it was going to be rain, abundance of rain. Rain is just out there drizzling now. God is pouring down his blessings. He's pouring down his might, his power on you. Come now and speak. God is saying, listen, I'm going to hold a court case. Come and speak. Let me hear what you got to say. Because you've been coming against my people, and it's time for me to step up now and take charge. God is stepping up on your behalf. God is your judge. You ain't got to go before no judge. The judge that you go before is going to try to send you on into that place. The judge you may have to go before in the physical is going to try to send you into that place. But God has said, I'm your judge. I'm your final judge. When you step up in that place, I deal with the judge. I touch the judge. I touch the judge's heart. So you won't get locked up. So you will be able to walk out the doors. The court is ready for your case. I'm telling you, God is ready for your case. He's ready to hear your case. There's some things that you got before God that you've been talking to God about and speak to God for, and you haven't heard God speak to you yet. Nobody prophesied nothing to you. You just wait for God to give you confirmation on something. Somebody's trying to move to another location. Somebody's trying to start another job. Somebody wants to get another job. Somebody looking to get a house or a car. You've been talking to God about some stuff, and God is saying, now bring your case before me. He's saying, now bring your case before me. But he's saying today, help is on the way. Somebody type in, help is on the way. Help is on the way. Verse 2 says, who has stirred up this king from the east, rightly calling him to God's service? Who has stirred up the king? Who gives this man victory over many nations and permits him to trample their kings underfoot? With his sword, he reduces armies to dust. With his bow, he scatters them like chaff before the wind. All of the armies that came against Jerusalem and Israel, God literally destroyed them. God sent plagues. God sent wind. He sent his angels. There's at one particular time, 100,000 men was killed. God sent his angels and it slayed 100,000 men, killed them. So in your situation that you have, your case you have before God, God is saying, my help is on the way. I'm going to fight it for you. I'm going to cause you to not have to stress about it, to not have to worry about it. Don't worry, don't fret. I'm going to trouble the case. I'm going to trouble it. Isaiah 41:3 says, he chases them away and goes on safely, though he is walking over unfamiliar ground. People are on grounds that they're not supposed to be on. People have stepped on boundaries of yours and they're not supposed to be in your boundaries. You told people don't come to your house. They knocked on the door and showed up at your house anyway, got outside and called you and texted you on the phone, said, hey, I'm at your house, I just pulled up. You never invited them, you never told them to come. They just pulled up unexpectedly. People are on unfamiliar grounds and God is saying, help is on the way. God said, I'm going to stop them, I'm going to shut it down, I'm going to shut them down. I'm going to shut them down. Who has done such mighty deeds, summoning each new generation from the beginning of time? God summons generation after generation. God is calling his people to him. Generation after generation after generation. God could use them doing from Cain and Abel on. God couldn't really use nobody. And then we have Noah. God used Noah. He said, I hated that I created man. And he used Noah to build the ark in that generation. And then he used Abraham in his time. And then he used Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in his time. And on, Jeremiah, Daniel. He used Apostle Paul in that time and generation. Now this is a new generation. And God is saying, now I want to use you. I want to use you. There's some things I want to do in and through you. I'm trying to heed to my attention. I'm coming in to help you. I'm going to help you with your case. I'm going to help you with your situation. But I've called you to do something great, something magnificent, something wonderful. And once I get through showing you who I am, once I show you my goodness, once I show you my glory, once I show you my power, once I take you through some things and show you who I am, and you're going to have to rely on me, it's going to be a testimony. And you're going to testify of me, of my goodness, of my grace, of my mercy, and my love for people, for others, my compassion for others. You're going to walk in and move in it. I've called you to this generation to be a leader, to be a lion, to be a lioness, to be an apostle, to be a pastor, to be a prophet, to be a prophet, to be an evangelist, to be a teacher. I've called you to it from the beginning of time. It is I, the Lord, the first. God says, I'm the first and the last. I'm the first and the last. I alone am he. God said, I alone am he. He said, I'm the first and the last. I'm Alpha and Omega, the beginning and end. You are Alpha and Omega. We worship you, our Lord. You are worthy to be praised. You are Alpha and Omega. We worship you, our Lord. You are worthy to be praised. We give you all the glory. We worship you, our Lord. You are worthy to be praised. Jesus, he's Alpha and Omega. He's the beginning and he's the end. He's the first and he's the last. It says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. God first knew you before the foundations of time. You was once last, but now you're about to be first. God is about to propel you. He's about to launch you now. He's about to take you from, I'm going to say that earlier, doing a prophetic activation. He's about to take you from the back to the front. The back to the front. For those of you that watched the prophetic activation earlier, this is in line with that. You've been sitting and watching others in church singing, on the choir singing. You've been sitting back in the back of the church. You've been in the back burner. You've been sitting back watching. Lord, when is it going to be my turn? When am I going to be able to move into that? God is He's activating you. He's propelling you. He's launching you. But help is on the way. Help is on the way. Isaiah 41:5 says, the lands beyond the sea watch. The lands watch in fear. Remote lands tremble and mobilize for war. See, people know you're a child of God. They know you got a call on your life. They know you trying to do something, and they're going to set up war against you. They're going to set up war against you to stop you and trap you. They're going to set up war against you. They're going to mobilize. They're going to try to surround you. They're going to try to take you out in war and in battle. Verse 6, the idol makers encourage one another. They're making idols. I'm making this idol. What kind of idol you going to make? I'm going to make this idol. Their God is not the real God. We're going to set up these idols. We're going to worship it. We're going to sacrifice it. We're going to sacrifice our God because their God is not the real God. So people are setting up idols against you, all kind of stuff. Saying to each other, be strong. They're encouraging one another. The carver encourages the goldsmith, and the molder helps at the anvil. Good, they say. Good, they say. It's coming along fine. Carefully, they join the parts together, then fasten the thing in place so it won't fall over. They're building these statues and these gods, but just like the time of Dagon, he fell face flat and he broke into pieces. He broke into pieces. Everybody try to come up against you, they're going to fall in pieces. People that, thank you, Lord. People that try to come against you, they ain't nothing but an idol. They ain't nothing but idols. People that try to attack you and the God you serve, they're idols. They're worshiping idols. Well, you can worship an idol so much that you can become just, you know, a lot of people, they think they're God. They think that they're a God. Verse 8, but as for you, Israel, my servant, as for you, people of God, Jacob, my chosen one, descended from Abraham, my friend, I have called you back from the ends of the earth, saying, you are my servant. God is saying today, you are my servant. You are my child. I've called you out. I've hewn you out. You are my servant. And I will not throw you away. He said, for I have chosen you. It will not throw you away. God said, I've chosen you, and I'm not going to abandon you, and I'm not going to throw you away. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. You need to know, it may not feel like God is around or in your presence or in your space, but God is with you every step of the way. God is with, He's cheering you on. He's with you every step of the way. He's everywhere. He's omnipotent. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. Not only is God with you, but He's going to strengthen you and helping you. So you don't need a lot of people. It doesn't take a lot. He said, I'm with you and I'm going to strengthen you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. God's going to hold you up. He didn't say two hands. He said with my right hand. God only needs His one hand to hold you up. His power is magnificent. His power is glorious. His power is glorious. See, all your angry enemies lie there. They're confused and they're humiliated. Why? Because you haven't died yet. You haven't died yet. You haven't given up to Baal. You haven't bowed down to Baal. You haven't died yet, and the enemy is confused. They're mad, they're angry because you haven't given up, you haven't quit. Anyone who opposes you will die and come to nothing. This is Isaiah 41:11. Everybody that try to come up against you, God will judge them and God will wipe them out and He will take them out. So you got to keep going. Keep doing what God is calling you to do. Because God is with you. His strength is going to strengthen you. And He's going to take out all the foes that try to come against you. God's going to destroy them. Destroy them. Verse 12. You will look in vain for those who try to conquer you. Those who attack you will come, they will come to nothing. They won't even survive. They won't even last long. They won't last long. They won't last long. For I hold you by your right hand, I, the Lord your God. And I say to you, don't be afraid. People of God, don't be afraid of nothing. Don't be afraid of nothing. If God be for you, who can be against you? He said, I'm here to help you. Though you are a lowly worm, O Jacob, don't be afraid, people of Israel, for I will help you. I am the Lord, your Redeemer. I am the Holy One of Israel. God is the God of all earth. You will be a new threshing instrument with many sharp teeth. You will tear your enemies apart, making chaff of mountains. You will toss them into the air, and the wind will blow them all away. A whirlwind will scatter them. A whirlwind will scatter them. Then you will rejoice in the land. You will glory in the Holy One of Israel. Verse 17, when the poor and needy search for water, and there is none, and other tongues are parched from thirst, then I, the Lord, will answer them. I, the God of Israel, will never abandon them. I will open up rivers for them on the high plateaus. I will give them fountains of water in the valleys. God's going to give water in the valleys, in the low places. God is going to provide his spirit is going to rest on you. His spirit is going to move in and through you. He's going to provide water. You think about Ezekiel when the water was down to the ankles, then it came to the knee and to the waist. The water began to rise higher and higher and higher. The more you move in God, the more you move into the things of God, the more God anoints you, the more God, the more He anoints you, the more He uses you, the more His presence rests upon you. The power of God, it rests on you. I will fill the desert with pools of water. Rivers fed by springs will flow across the perched ground. There's a healing time. There's a time of healing. There's a time of preservation. When the pool of Bethesda was troubled, they was trying to get in. They was trying to get in to be healed. Verse 19, I will plant trees in the barren deserts. I'm doing this so all who see this miracle will understand what it means. That it is the Lord who has done this. It's God who does it all. The Holy One of Israel who created it. Present the case for your idols, says the Lord. Let them show what they can do, says the King. Think about Elijah. Elijah came before the people. He said, okay, let your gods do what they do. So burn the sacrifices, burn the fire, whatever you got to do. They marched around from morning to afternoon, slicing themselves, cutting themselves. People don't want to serve your God, but they want to show you their God. They want to show you their God. But their God has no power. He has no power. Present the case for your idols, says the Lord. Let them show what they can do. Let them try to tell us what happened long ago, so that we may consider the evidence. Or let them tell us what the future holds, so we can know what's going to happen. So God was literally saying, let them prophesy what's going to happen. Let them say what's going to happen. Let's see what their God is going to say. Yes, tell us what will occur in the days ahead. Then we will know you are gods. In fact, do anything, good or bad. God said, tell them to do whatever. Do whatever. Do something that will amaze and frighten us. But no, you are less than nothing and can do nothing at all. An idol can do nothing at all. Those who choose you pollute themselves. But I stirred up a leader who will approach from the north. From the east, he will call on my name. I will give him victory over kings and princesses. He will trample them as a potter treads on clay. Who told you from the beginning that this would happen? Who predicted this, making you admit that he was right? No one said a word. I was the first to tell Zion, look, hope is on the way. I come to tell you all today that help is on the way. Don't be weary, don't fret, because help is on the way. I will send Jerusalem a messenger with good news. Not one of your idols told you this. Now, what did he answer when I asked? See, they are all foolish, worthless things. All your idols are as empty as the wind. All idols are empty as the wind. God is saying today, help is on the way. People are setting up all these idols and all these worshiping things, all of these things they worshiping, God is saying, I have nobody before me. Nobody before me. But he's saying today that as they setting up these idols, they're also trying to attack you. And he's saying, don't worry. I'm going to bring them to God. I'm going to bring them to my court because help is literally on the way. This is Darren Moore signing out. Until next time, love everybody and know that God is on his way to help you.